The water just kept flowing and flowing and flowing and flowing overnight while I was sleeping, and that was enough water to actually flood my entire house.
An Airbnb host left with a monstrous mess. Her home flooded out by guests, she says, leaving her with a massive bill and nowhere to live. Good evening. I'm Ama Days.
And I'm Dan Ashley. Thanks for joining us. That woman says she's now facing nearly $300,000 in losses and damage after some guests left her unit in the Mission District flooded and in complete disrepair.
ABC 7 News reporter Suzanne Fawn is in the newsroom with this story tonight. Suzanne.
Dan, the Airbnb host says this has been a nightmare. A toilet clogged by baby wipes led the sewer water to overflow, damaging the Airbnb unit and the unit downstairs where the host lived. Now, for the past 6 months, the host and her family have had to find somewhere else to live. No repairs have been made, and the damages and costs have not been resolved.
So this is the toilet that caused the damage. You can still see the baby wipe.
It's hard to believe that a clogged and broken toilet could have caused so much damage.
It was the toilet that had been broken and running over for 15 plus hours.
Erika Gemzer and her husband, who are expecting their first child any day now, were forced to move out of their home in the Mission District 6 months ago. Their house is still unfixed.
There's no kitchen, no bathrooms that could be usable.
Gemzer is an Airbnb host. On March 15th, 4 guests signed on to stay at her upstairs unit in the Mission District for a month.
They had actually left that evening of April 13th, presumably right before or right after this clog started.
Gemzer lived in the unit directly downstairs. She didn't see any red flags until it was too late.
Water coming from every crevice, opening, every light fixture.
Gemzer immediately called Airbnb, who then told her to get a full estimate and receipts for the repairs to her home. She says the extent of the damage made it impossible to get a quick assessment.
I tried to explain this to Airbnb, like this is not a broken door, this isn't furniture.
Gemzer says it took weeks for Airbnb's investigative plumber to arrive and determine the cost of the clogged toilet.
3 of those things happening. It's the feces, it's the baby wipes that they probably used the entire 30 days that they were there, and the trying to relieve the clog by messing with the tank.
Gemzer estimates that the damages and the losses add up to about $300,000. She says she's disappointed by Airbnb's coverage policy for hosts.
They advertise it as the $3 million host protection guarantee. So the idea is, as a host, we've got you covered top to bottom with $3 million of coverage. So don't worry, we got you. Turns out 90% of that is not covered. So they've given me an offer of around $31,000.
Gemzer believes she was fully covered between Airbnb's host coverage and her own homeowner's insurance.
Turns out that's not the case. So for people who are thinking about being hosts, look into all the different insurance you can buy all of it, buy all of it.
And Airbnb just got back to us and released this statement, quote, "We take air cover requests incredibly seriously, including in this case where we tried to send a third-party investigator to review the damage, but the host declined, stating that her homeowner's insurance company was supporting her with the damage as well as temporary accommodation. Still, we offered to pay the loss of her booking, her insurance deductible and additional reimbursement as a gesture of goodwill. We've been in continuous contact with the host, including speaking today to continue to support her." Now, I reached out to Gemzer for a response, and she says she is astounded by this statement. She says much of it is untrue, and Gemzer says she has 60 emails with third-party investigators trying to get him to come out and review the damage. Live in the newsroom, Suzanne Fawn, ABC 7 News.
All right, Suzanne.